In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to set up your FTC phones with the correct settings so they are able to communicate with each other and the robot. We will then connect the phones to the code editors. For this tutorial, you'll need your two phones, your control hub, and a Wi-Fi connection. I'll be using a Motorola Moto E4, but you can use any FTC legal phone. Most of the settings and UI should be very similar since they are all Android phones. Next, I'll be using the Rev Expansion Hub on the robot. The procedure will differ if you're using the Rev Control Hub or modern robotics components. Okay, so let's get into it. Everything I mentioned will be meant to be done on both phones, unless told otherwise. When you get your phone, if you have a SIM card, remove it so you'll not be forced to set it up. Next, log in with your Google account. This can be your personal Google account, or if your team has a Google account, then that. Google accounts are free to make if you do not already have one. Once your phone starts up, you'll want to turn off your location and Bluetooth. Next, turn airplane mode on. As a result of this, the Wi-Fi will be turned off. Turn it back on. Then connect to your home or school wireless network. This needs to be a genuine Wi-Fi network with access to the internet. Then next, open the Google Play Store. From here, the operation is different for each phone. You must choose one phone to be the robot controller and one phone to be the driver station. It does not matter which is which. Once you have chosen, install the corresponding app from the Google Play Store. After that is done, on the robot controller phone, go to Settings. Once there, scroll down to the bottom and click About Phone. Then, repeatedly click Build Number. Since I've already done this, it already says I'm a developer. Next, a new menu will appear called Developer Options. Enter it. Scroll down until you find USB debugging and enable it. Mine was already enabled since I've done this before. Remember, this is only necessary for the robot controller phone. Next, on both phones, go to Settings and forget the Wi-Fi network used to install the apps. This can be done by holding the Wi-Fi network you're connected to and clicking Forget. Verify that you have no other remembered wireless networks by clicking the Settings icon and going to Save Networks. It should be blank. Next, go back and click the hamburger menu, the three dots, and click Advanced, then Wi-Fi Direct. Rename each of your phones according to the proper standard. To do this, click the three dots in the top right-hand corner and click Configure Device. The name must be your team number followed by a dash, followed by DS for driver station or RS for robot controller, depending on the phone you are on. Next, click Search for Devices. Once you see the other phone's name appear below, under Peer Devices, click it. Once you do so, a prompt should appear on the other phone. Accept it. Next, on both phones, open the corresponding first app, either driver station or robot controller. Accept all the permissions it asks for by clicking Allow. On both apps, go to Settings to verify that they both have the same name as in the Wi-Fi Direct settings. Next, on the driver station phone, click Pair with Robot Controller. You should see the name of the other phone appear. Click it. Turn off Filter Wi-Fi devices if you do not. Another invitation will appear on the robot controller phone. Accept it once again. Now, in the driver station app, you should see a ping number, contrary to the previous no heartbeat. This represents your connection strength between the phones. We will go over more on how to use the driver station app in our next tutorial. For now, get your expansion hub and power it on with the battery. Then connect the robot controller phone to it. You should see a prompt coming up asking for permission. Ensure to use by default is selected, and then click OK. You may need to do this more than once. Now click the three dots in the top right and click Configure Robot. You should have no configurations, so select the New. Next, click Scan. You may need to do this multiple times. Click Expansion Hub 1. Since I am using two expansion hubs, you can see that two hubs are listed. If you're only using one hub, then you only need to configure one. Let's start with the first hub. Let's configure a motor. Depending on where your motors are connected, click the drop-down and select the type of motor you're using. Then give it an appropriate name. In my case, I have a Tetrix motor connected on port 0, and it controls the left side of my drive, so I named it Left Drive. Next, let's configure a servo. Click Servo. My servo is a continuous rotation servo on port 1 that clamps the stones in the game. So that's where I put it, and the specification I chose, as well as the name I gave it. Finally, let's configure a simple touch sensor. Click Digital Devices. Since 2 sensors can be plugged into one port with a Y cable, each physical port represents 2 ports. For example, ports 0 and 1 are actually one physical port. Since we're not using a Y cable, it'll be defaulting to the higher one. So in our case, 1. When you're done configuring all your actuators and sensors, click Done. Next, click the second expansion hub, if you have one. Let's just configure one motor on port 0 here, the right drive Tetrix motor. Once you're done, click Done and Done again. Then click Save. It'll prompt you to name the configuration. Give it an appropriate name. I'll name this one Tutorial. Next, click Activate beside the name and the configuration you've just made. Then go back. You have now saved and activated the configuration that maps all your motors and sensors. Now open the Driver Station app. You should see the robot connected and signified by a green battery icon and a voltage. You will notice that there are currently no op modes. We will cover op modes in our next tutorial. But for now, let's connect our phones to OnBot Java code editor and OnBot Blocks code editor. To do this, click the 3 dots on the Driver Station app and click Program and Manage. This will give you a Wi-Fi network SSID and its corresponding password. Connect to it from any device like you would with any Wi-Fi network, preferably some type of computer. Once connected to the Wi-Fi network, enter the URL shown in your browser, 192.168.4.9.1.8080 for me. But this might be different depending on your wireless network. Check what your phone says. Once you get there, make sure both the robot and the driver station are still powered on and connected. You'll see that you now have the option to program the robot in both blocks and OnBot Java. In our next tutorial, we will look at programming the robot by creating our first op mode. If you had any issues with the following tutorial, look in the description for common issues and how to fix them. Thanks for watching.